Welcome to Real Talk with iDeal and Friends. This is the Meet the Singles edition, and this is episode 3. I am the host, iDeal. I'm a Christian and will guide the conversations. I will give perspective on issues discussed where necessary, and where context is needed, the gospel will be the context. So I want to say one more time, thank you for being here, all my panelists and everybody that's here as a spectator. If you want to be on the hot seat for Meet the Singles, we will be glad to have you on. So I want to talk about this show, Meet the Singles. What is Meet the Singles really about? Meet the Singles is with 3 ladies and gentlemen and aims to give people of both genders the opportunity to learn about each other by speaking freely and honestly without sight as a distraction or prejudice, and to help them relax and be free. And they will be blindfolded throughout the session. Also, this is the format we're going to go through for Real Talk, like we always do. The conversations will consist of 2-3 rounds. In each round, a member of a team, the male or female, will have the opportunity to pick a question and select and ask the other gender to answer that question, right? When a question is asked or answered, the person that chose the question is free to probe for clarity politely, right? Also, like we have said, participants are to be anonymous throughout the event, concealing their names and faces. Therefore, while on the show, we'll refer to them as Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, as the case may be. Like I said before, there will be a live viewing participants on the show, and a chat room will be available for the viewing participant during the show. Also, I have a fantastic team that's working with me, and they will read out some of the comments or questions from the chat room as the case may be. We also expect that panelists and participants will maintain decorum and mutual respect in expressing themselves. Also, I want to say this very importantly, the views of the panelists and participants do not represent the view of the host of the show. Even though I want people to be honest, I want people to be real and free and share your experience, all right? So I believe everybody has gotten that clear. So Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, are you guys good? Do you guys get it? Can we go on? Are you guys ready?
All good.
All right. So we're going to start with an icebreaker question. And I'm going to start with Mr. 1. Everybody's going to answer the icebreaker question. So here it is. What has been your longest relationship and shortest relationship, and why? What has been your longest relationship, your shortest relationship, and why? What has been your longest and shortest relationship, and why? This question is for Mr. 1 to start.
The longest relationship would be my first relationship, and it was for about 4 years. About 3 years, 4 years old. And my shortest relationship would be my second relationship, was about like a month. So I'll speak to the second one as to why. I mean, I saw a lady, I liked her, I asked her out for like 2 weeks or a week into the relationship. I figured it was a bad decision. You know, I figured there was no point trying to make it all the while, you know, and I thought it was noble enough to just say, see, I made a mistake here and I want to replace myself. And so I just went to meet her and I had that conversation with her. And that was how the relationship ended. That's it.
Oh. All right, thank you. Let's go to Miss 1.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. My longest relationship would be my second and it lasted for a year. And then my shortest was the next one, and it was just for 2 weeks. Reason being that he revealed some things to me, which made it impossible to go on. So that was it.
Interesting. All right. Let's go to Mr. 2. What was your longest and shortest relationship and why?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. So my longest relationship would be my first relationship. I think that went on for 2 years. Maybe like a little over 2 years, actually. Just a little over 2 years. And my shortest relationship would be 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. 3 months, yeah. Just as I guess we were taking it up a notch. I now she got discovered she had like extreme anger issues. Not the kind that when she's arguing she can throw like sharp things at you type thing. But like I didn't really have anything in me that could deal with people with anger issues. I'd never met them before. So just had to like part ways.
Interesting. It seems everybody's first relationship has been the longest. Okay, Miss 2. I think Miss 2 should go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My longest relationship was 4 years. The shortest relationship was about 8 months. I think with the why it ended so quickly, probably just when you realize there's this and you rush in and the honeymoon phase kind of phases a little bit, you kind of see that there's things to work on. So, yeah.
Any reason why?
Yeah, well, like out of the honeymoon phase and it kind of phases out. You start with each other or things that maybe you need to work on individually as a person. That ends up like.
Okay, great. I think it's a bit difficult for me to hear you. I don't know if there's an issue with the network, but I'm going to go to Mr. 2. Okay, I've done Mr. 2. Can we go to Mr. 3?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. For me, it's interesting because I haven't actually really been in a proper relationship.
So your longest and your shortest is 0 weeks?
More like, yeah.
Awesome.
And reason why it would be,
okay.
Sometimes when you're just when you're about to get in of the question, or maybe to ask, it just doesn't work. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for being open. Everybody's experiences are different, I guess. Miss 3, could you help us with your answer to that question? I'm unmuting you now.
So my longest relationship was 5 years. That was all through undergrad. And then the shortest relationship was barely a week old. And the longest relationship was because, it was the first love. We were so in love and all. And then the shortest relationship was Abuja connection. So when I knew he was one of those, I just ran away. So yeah.
What's Abuja connection?
Those ones that will want to move in with you in less than 2 days.
Whoa. That's interesting. I've lived in Abuja. I've never had that connection. Interesting.
Okay. You mean you don't know the ones that have an uncle who needs a contract and need you to loan them some money to go and clear whatever? Okay.
Okay, I will take note of that. Thank you for the information. All right. So we're going to go into the first round of questions. And yeah, I'm going to start from Miss One. So Miss One is going to pick a question from 1 to 9, and when she picks that question, Mr. 1, 2, and 3 should be ready to answer it. So, Miss 1, please, what question do you pick?
Okay, I'm picking question number 3.
Question number 3.
Yep.
This is the question. I'll read it out. How do you think your partner's relationship with the opposite sex should be? How close would you want them to be? How do you think your partner's relationship with the opposite sex should be? How close would you want them to be? Mr. 1, over to you.
Okay, so for me, I don't have a problem with my girlfriend having male friends. Like, I even like it. So more the merrier, I like to have people around me. So if she makes friends with the right kind of guys, I'm good with it. The only one I can't stand is having relationship with your exes. I think it's a bad idea from the get-go. So for me, that's like a no-no. But other than that, like some really good guy, interested in your development, interested in you being better, interested in you doing the right stuff. I mean, you guys can be like good friends, but not like close, because they have to be your best friend and your guy. And that's it.
Okay, awesome. Miss 1, please take notes of the responses, so in case you want to probe more. Mr. 2, what's your answer to this question?
Like Mr. 1, I don't have a problem with her having friends of the opposite. I would like to believe that before me, and unfortunately, let's be real, it so happens that there's an after me, that you would have a life, outside of me. The only thing for me would be that whatever you would not want me to do with the opposite sex, whatever metric you're using to measure my own relationship, because I have female friends. So whatever metric you're using to measure my closeness to the opposite sex, apply that to yourself. Whatever boundaries you wouldn't want me to cross, set the example by not crossing that boundary. That's just it for me. Like, do you? I mean, live your life in that regard, but don't have double standards. Expect me to, act a certain way, and then you want to still maintain whatever you want. Whatever you need me to do, I would take it into advisement consideration. But you also apply that same standard to you. That will be it.
So regardless of what the standard is, just apply it.
Well, I mean, like, within reason. Don't go shagging or something like that. I mean, use your church mind, if you know what I mean. Like, there are some.
What's shagging about?
Shagging is sex. I mean, we are all grown up. Having sex. Don't go going to second base, and all those kind of things. Those are red lines. I'm not saying, obviously, I mean, by this time, you and I should have commitment enough to know that there's exclusivity. You're not crossing certain lines. Also, you should be a person of faith. So there should be some things that should be no-nos to you. So those ones aside, those ones are just like given. I'm saying maybe there's certain times of the day that if you do not want me to be receiving phone calls from the opposite sex, apply that thing to yourself. If there are certain sorts of conversations you don't want me to engage with the opposite sex, apply the same to yourself. That's the kind of level I'm talking, not it's not in absolute. We are not talking absolutes. Like they're like it's within like a confined subset. So yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. 2. So, Mr. 3, can we get your response?
Okay. I couldn't agree more with Mr. 2, actually. I loved everything Mr. 2 said. However, I pretty much agree with everything Mr. 2 said. Let me see. Let me try to add something. I would just say, I would just say keep your intentions clean. Yeah, keep your intentions clean. So, and always have a definition at the back of your mind. So if you know that this person is your friend for this particular reason or this particular purpose, so it's always good to keep that, and also to be open about it. So.
All right, thank you. Great answers. Miss One, are you satisfied?
I don't know if I heard the question correctly. I think it said, how do you want your relationship, your significant other's relationship to be? Like how close? Not if you want it to be at all, right? Am I?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So now the question is, how about if they have like best friends of the opposite sex or like prayer partners, that kind of thing? So how close are you open to having, your significant other having a best friend or to be the opposite sex? So that question is for Mr. 1.
Okay, for me, like I said, I also believe in respecting people's boundaries. So to say if you are friends with someone, it's perfect. But you must be able to respect the boundary of our relationship. So you can't be best friends with someone else and I'm dating you. Like it's not doable. You can also have a prayer partner of the opposite sex and we're dating. Like, am I not capable of praying? Like it will be there. So like these are things that I can do. Like I should think I'm okay enough to do those kind of roles. So I'm like fine with casual friendship. Like you guys are friends from work, you guys are friends from some place. But other than that, it's like anything it's a complete red flag, and that's what I say.
Okay.
I'd like to say something.
Do you know the other guys want to jump on that?
Yes, I want to jump on it. Can I go?
Yes, please.
So I have observed something. I don't know how it is, but it is. The female folk can friend zone men to a degree that we men cannot friend zone women. I've seen it. That friend zone hedge is very strong, man. Sometimes if you enter it, you're there, you're stuck. So like, if I really am not like, I would like to believe that I've dealt with my insecurities to a certain extent, that I know I am the business. If you're with me, you stand to gain. If you lose, you lose, that kind of thing. I would like to believe that. Obviously, there are going to be times where things chip away at that security. But I mean, that's not really the point in play. So if this person is a best friend, I would like to know the antecedents of your friendship. Were you guys kissing cousins once upon a time type thing? Like, have you crossed certain boundaries and then after that you friend zone the person, which means the person has planted a deposit of emotions beyond this friend zone hedge type thing. And then how long has that been before that? Just purely for transparency's sake, because I would like to believe you'd expect the same of me. But really, if this person is best friend, all well and good. If it's that in your prayer, the only thing I would like to ask is that as you're doing prayer partnership, don't use it on gossip matter that is affecting us. Don't now let the person not be the person to settle quarrel, that kind of thing. Don't discuss our matter, because a lot of times, if you and I have issues and we settle, whatever you've shared with this person in the name of prayer colors the way this person views me and you, and sometimes never goes away. Don't look for somebody else. Look for like an older mentor. report me to that older mentor. Don't report me to your best friend prayer partner. You understand? That kind of thing. That is the only thing I would ask. I have no. If you guys want to be jiggy in that regard. I mean, you can never have too many prayer partners, I believe, personally. So, but just don't use prayer partner to report me and be gossiping our matter. That's just the thing. But I mean, for the rest of it, if you guys want to be best friends, as long as your antecedents do not show that sometimes you open that head shower and the person comes out and you guys do anyhow. As long as that head doesn't have key, is locked and is there for life, I'm good. That kind of thing.
Miss Wan, did you want to say something before?
I mean, I don't want to drag it too much, but I think everyone has pretty much stated their. Yeah.
No, but say something now if you have something to say real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing about boundaries, yeah? You could say, don't stretch out the hedge or don't, take it too far. Well, isn't it better to at least define, what's acceptable from the onset, because we as humans, we really don't know our capacity. You might think that, I'm strong enough or I'm very disciplined or I can handle this, but then it keeps chipping away. This is someone you confide in all the time, you pray with. I mean, when you're praying, you're going to pray about your deepest heart desires, yeah? You're not just going to pray surface prayers with your partner. So, I mean, I'm there with Mr. One, I guess, because these things, you can't really claim to be so disciplined in them. Yeah.
So I would say this, if I may, and I'll be quick. So this goes back to my first point of what standard do you want to set? I mean, I'm gravy. If you have a problem with me just using your same coin to pay and have a female best friend type thing, if you look at it in that light, then use that same brush and paint this one with the same strokes. That is it. If it then turns out that, and I would like to believe that in the course of our relationship, we form a decent communication channel. If we talk about it and we realize, you're not cool. I'm not saying I'm about to go look for a female best friend if I don't have one. But if you're not cool with it, then man, you have to spell it out for this guy that, look, this thing will affect my relationship and this is where it has to end. We'll draw this boundary and let's keep it at that. That will stop being prayer partners just for the sake of it. If it's worth it to you, then you put it up. If it's not, then it's not. You can't really force adults to do what they don't want to do. Which is why for me, I believe in individuality. Don't lose yourself. Some people get completely consumed by relationships and then they don't really have their own standout colors anymore. You are only colored by the color of your relationship. I don't believe in that. I believe in yourself, that thing, and bring that flavor to the relationship. So if it's that this is what makes you, then do you. But if in the process of doing you, us will be affected, then please, by all means, don't do you, I beg. Take us. So that thing,
all right, thank you. All right, I think we have really done justice on that one. All right, so I'm going to go to Mr. One. I want Mr. One to pick a question so that we can jump on that one. Mr. One, are you there? Okay, so let Mr. Two, can you help us pick a question? We'll come back to Mr. One.
Let us go with number 7, the number of completion.
Number 7, say number of what?
Completion.
Number of perfection.
Completion.
Okay. Are you trying to complete something?
Then last we are completing the balance sheet scorecard.
Number 7. For the ladies, what is off limits before marriage and why? What is off limits before marriage and why? A, sex. B, oral sex. C, kissing. D, long hugs. E, kisses on the cheek. F, all of the above. What is off limits before marriage and why? A, sex. B, oral sex. C, kissing. D, long hugs. E, kisses on the cheek. F, all of the above. I'm going to start from Miss 3. Miss 3.
This is real setup like this. So, what kind of thing? Please, I've left the group. I join you. I've left the group, please. Okay. So, we're adults here. Oh, that's the caveat I'm giving.
Yeah, I just want you, just be honest and
yes.
we will learn from each other. That's the idea.
No, I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving a caveat first. See, we're adults. So for me, I would say sex. You know why? Because kissing, hugging. I mean, I need to know that as I'm touching you like that, as we're touching each other, the thing is moving you small. So I need to be sure that I'm attractive to you, and also I'm open to even smoochies and everything, just to know that we are compatible, sort of, in that department. I can't just have someone that I'm not sure of your capability. Before I come and enter now, I'll discover that I'm not even moving you, you are not even up to at least the barest minimum of my expectations of, in the other room. So I'll definitely go for, most of them except sex. Also because people want to touch you first before you marry now. So that's it.
There were many options there, Sha. I believe you heard all the things I said. But anyway, I'm going to go to Miss.
Now. Okay, but let's write this thing somewhere. Let it be shown. Let me know now.
Okay, I would project it again. I would share my screen again.
Let's just know. Okay,
so that's it.
There is oral sex, Neil. Okay, see, the thing with oral sex, it's not you just feel that it's not real sex per se, because there's no proper penetration. So you can even excuse it small and say, that one is not sex. So please, let it just be there so that we'll know that there's a compatibility. Thank God nobody can see my face, so nobody knows who is talking here. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you for being open. I'm sure that is your being real. So I'm going to go to Miss 2.
I agree a lot with Miss 3 actually. I feel like you need to see if you actually are in that department for like the kissing, like hugging. If I could say A and B would be off limits. I feel like B is just more tempting to be to A. Or like there's just you are doing those things. If you're trying to keep sex being off limits, but that's not enough. So I would probably just say A would probably be what should be off limits.
Yeah. So you're giving like 2 answers in one, right? Miss 1.
I didn't quite hear what Miss 2 said, but okay. For me, I guess I'm pretty much very left wing on this one. I would say obviously the first 2 is definitely out of the question. But for the other 2, the other 3, I think, it would be a conversation. Now, personally, I have my own boundaries, or would I say tickers, yeah? So now the aim between us as being unmarried and just dating is that we're able to maintain that purity and honor God in the relationship. And if anything is going to derail that, we should cut it off. So it'll be a conversation. I personally, I can manage a long hug or a peck or a kiss on the cheek, all of that, without feeling like I'm being tempted in any way. But for the other person, if it is something that would derail him, or if it's something that he's not very firm on, or he's it would lead him to want more, then I'm fine with cutting everything off. Yeah. So it would be a conversation for the other three. It would be a conversation, and it would be based on the goal in mind, which is to honor God with our bodies and to maintain purity in what we're doing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Miss Two, I would like you to answer the question again, and I want you to try and answer it slowly and clearly so that people can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so I was saying it's probably limits, but kind of just touching based on what Miss One said as well as how I see the other kind of lead to that temptation, so something that's going to end up leading to what you're trying to avoid, which is sex, and it would be to kind of see what would be off limits. Do not give that temptation.
All right.
I also agree in the sense that you kind of want to see if that other department would be compatible because someone you're going to be married to for the rest of your life.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think what I hear from you is you're saying that sex is off limits, and it's also important to take note of anything that could lead you there. You're concerned about that. I think that's what I understand from what you're saying. Mr. Two, are you okay with those responses, or you're good, right? Okay, good. So we're gonna go to Miss Two to pick a question.
Number 8.
Number 8. So Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, get ready for your question. And your question is, do you think taking a break can save a relationship? And do you think that taking a break can save a relationship, and why? I'm going to start from Mr. 3 this time around. Do you think that taking a break can save a relationship, and why?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, yes. I think taking a break can save a relationship, and that's because maybe you would need to pray about something, get clarity, or maybe you just need to pull back a bit. So I generally just think taking a break can save a relationship. Yes. However, not the break where you guys don't start acting weird.
Not the Will Smith type of break.
Yeah, not the break where because the thing is, relationship is based on friendship and love. Yeah. So if you genuinely care about someone, even though you're not in a relationship with them, you still should care. So if I take a break with someone and then the person becomes unduly hostile, and in the name of taking a break, that's off. On the flip side, if I don't think I would now get unduly hostile, right, unkind, just because in the name of a break. So I would say taking a break is fine. It's absolutely okay, because even though you're walking, even the day when you're walking you're walking down the aisle, you should still be able to look at the person you're with, and she should still be able to say, oh, I really want to be with this person. I really want to be with you. So, yeah. So if you feel like taking a break, absolutely, it's okay. But of course, keep the love, keep the friendship, keep the love. I don't mean just keep the love, basic love, human love, human love. So yes, I think, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Mr. 2. Mr. 2, can you hear me? You're muted. Mr. Two, you're muted, please. You're still muted. Okay, let me. Okay.
Sorry. I had to look for how to. I think when my network went unstable a bit, when it kicked me off and I came back and I stayed muted. Well, can you hear me now?
All right, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So, yes, it can, but let's not discount the power of muscle memory. Like your body, your mind, your subconscious just remembering the way things were, falling back into status quo. If status quo was the thing that made you need a break in the first place, if you are taking a break, work on nipping that at the bud. Because if you come back, whatever made that relationship not just go through that needed the break, you may just find yourself falling back into it. But I do believe that if you take time apart, absence does make the heart grow fonder. You may sit, if you reflect, you look back, this person actually meant more to me than I realized. And I want to make this work. And then that now takes, you now put in the work that is required to make it work. On both parties as well. You come back and then you make it. It can actually be the recipe to an amazing thereafter. Or it can just signal. It can also, when you do it and you come back, you may realize, muscle memory, like that's the thing. Just be, if you take the break and that's it, just remember, muscle memory is real, man. You may just fall back into old ways just as quickly as, it took the last time. So, yeah, that's what I think.
So because of muscle memory, we should not take a break. Or I'm just trying to get you.
My point is that it's easy for whatever you think the break is supposed to do to be eroded because you just get back into a comfortable space. That's my point. Okay. So you have to be a lot more conscious when you come back from the break for the benefits to stay. It's like a diet and like going on a diet or a weight loss program. If you come back to eating, you have to be conscious to ensure that you don't fall back to your old ways. Same way with a break. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I get that. All right, thank you. Mr. One.
Okay, for me, the way I see it is, if I'm driving a car downhill and my car is bad, maybe my brakes are bad, I will need to park the car on the side of the road and switch to my brakes before I continue my journey. So I think it's absolutely necessary. I know the different school of thoughts, this kind of thing, because I was in a relationship once and things were really getting all filled up and stuff. And I said, you know what, I think we might actually need to take a break. And my partner then had a problem with it, saying, you can't say you love someone and you want to take a break. That doesn't, in our own philosophy about things, well, these things don't work, But for me, I think absolutely, your car is bad. You don't keep driving the car and you're trying to fix the brake. That stuff is not possible. Or trying to fix something in the car. You park it, you open your hood, you try to fix the car, then you guys are back on the road again. But I mean, like Mr. Two said, it's also very important that we don't erode value at the end of the day. By taking a break, they're now going back to ourselves. Then the question is, what does taking a break also entail? Does it mean we're not going to be talking again? Or, but if in reality we were sincere friends before the relationship and stuff, I mean, taking a break might just be we see each other less, and we relegate conversation to SMS and phones and stuff while we're trying to fix whatever it is that's causing the problem. Then ultimately we're back together again and we're better off for it. So I think it's actually good to take a break when things are really all filled up. And that's my thing.
Awesome. I saw someone in the chat say that it depends on what the goal of the break is. I think that makes a lot of sense. Ms. Two, I hope you're satisfied with those questions. We're going to go to Mr. One. Mr. One, have you chosen any question?
Yeah.
Have you?
No, I'm not choosing any questions. I'll just choose one now.
Okay, great.
If question one is free, I'll take question one.
All right, let's do question one for you. So Miss One, Miss Two, Miss Three. No, we've done question 1.
Okay. I'll take question 2 then.
Question 2. All right. What do you think of gender roles in a relationship or marriage? What do you think of gender roles in a relationship or marriage? Do you think that, there are things that the guy should do and there are things that the lady should do? What do you think about gender roles in a relationship or marriage? That's a great question. So, Miss One, over to you.
Yeah, I think that's a great question as well. Now, as a general concept, I believe in the roles as stated in the Bible in the book of Ephesians 5. I believe in the headship of the man and the woman to submit to her husband. Now, how that plays out in the day-to-day affairs of the couple and how that translates to their reality as, living now in the 21st century would be very, very highly determinant by their reality, yeah? So as to what a man is supposed to do and what the woman is supposed to do, obviously biologically, clearly the woman is supposed to, carry the kids, give birth to the kids. Now, how the roles play out at home, it's solely defined by them, The man can earn more, the woman can earn more. The man can be the one at home, the woman can be the one at home. However it plays out, it's their prerogative, however they want to. There's no hard and fast rule to it, however it works for them, But as to headship and submission, I believe as it is as the Bible says.
Yeah. I think the question is more like roles, not just like cooking,
Okay, roles in what sense?
Providing those kind of roles, not necessarily leading and submission, like roles.
Right. I don't think there's a straight-jacketed role as to providing. What if the woman earns more and is able to provide more? That's fine too. Yeah. What's most paramount in my mind is that there's a clear head, and the woman is submitted to the man. Even that submission to it is both parties submit to each other. And I mean, the headship in the Bible is clearly like almost a servant role, being compared to Christ and the church. But as to like nitty-gritty of roles, I don't think I don't know. It depends on what works with the two people. I don't know that there's I don't know if I'm answering the question right, but yeah.
All right, well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have Miss 2 answer the question. Miss 2, are you there? Yeah, okay. I would love you to speak just slowly and clearly so people can really hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I guess as you said, not rules like in terms of cooking and stuff. I think this, in the time that we live in now, I feel like providing wise, I think it should be kind of based on both. It should be the man and woman, I think, now. I guess, of course, if the woman does stay home with the kids, that's different, but I do believe that it shouldn't just be that the man provides now financially. I don't know, I guess, can you just reread the questions, like kind of what you're expecting in terms of what the roles would be?
I think the question is quite vague.
Is vague? But I'm trying to give you.
I don't know where to kind of direct my answer.
Can you define the roles you're trying to?
What I mean, like roles in the home, like are they like roles like cooking, like providing, like there are certain houses that there are people that do certain things. Like the man does certain things and the woman does certain things. I'm not talking about leadership and submission.
Okay.
I mean, like gender, basically. Like in some homes, anything that has to do with the children is for the women, right? Stuff like that.
Well, I think with how marriage is looked at now, it's a partnership. So I do feel like it shouldn't just be that the women do the cleaning or the cooking. I feel like it should be a shared role. Just kind of the same thing with providing that they're both bringing an income together to build a better future for their life and their kids. Yeah, I feel like it just should be more shared. I don't think it should just be that the woman does kind of how it used to be where she's cleaning and cooking. I do feel that she should, it kind of goes into submission, but she should be serving her husband in a way. But I don't think it should just be generally the woman doing everything, especially now because most women have careers, they work now, they are in school and things like that. So.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Miss 3.
Okay. I think when the question was asked, I saw a lot of people shouting, "I want feminist." I mean, it's fine. There are societal roles that society has ascribed to both sexes to say, we're in a house, when a generator goes bad, hey, where are you, Junior? Go check the generator. Why the girls are there? So I feel there are some things that should be done that are survival skills and are not restrictive to any particular gender. For instance, cooking is a survival skill. Imagine you have to leave the house and you find yourself in a place where you don't have sisters, you would have to learn how to cook. So it's a skill both male and female needs to know. Then, for instance, I've also heard women who will be driving and then a tire gets bad and the next thing, oh, you want to call my husband? Oh my God, where's my husband? Where's my husband? And I'm like, what is this? It's a tire. Can you just fix it, please? I mean, it shouldn't be anything so spectacular. There are just major rules that you need to learn as a human being to survive in society. So I don't believe in restricted rules in the house. I'm not want to believe in those kind of, this is for this person, this is for this person. I just feel if it's something and you have the capacity to do it, please get it done. There is no need waiting for someone else to do it. So yeah, that's it.
All right, fantastic. Do any of the guys want to jump on this conversation? Do you have a perspective? Any of them?
Yeah. Well, for me, I agree with what Miss 3 said, saying, that rules, you shouldn't have them cast in stones. Like cooking is a survival skill. Everyone should learn how to cook. But I don't quite agree with. I think there are certain jobs that are a man's job, and it's because of the way we are built. You guys are like, the Bible was saying that you should treat your women like a weaker vessel, not like weak in itself. But by design, if you subject a man and a woman to the same training, the man is likely to be physically more diligent at the job than. Now I won't say diligent, more. Do well physically than the lady. So it's because of the way we're built. So I think when it comes to certain physical chores, it's strictly a man's job. If the guy is not around, the lady can do it. Even in a relationship or stuff. I mean, for me, there's something about me feeling. I like when I feel needed. Like maybe someone can call me and say my tire is bad, or and I'm speeding off down there, like Superman, come change the tire for you. I feel good when I do those kind of jobs, because I feel it's like job. Than having to see you by the roadside. But I mean, I know we've gotten to the point where if you had like a car insurance, you can call the insurance company and they come tow your car to the house and stuff. But I mean, all those kind of male kind of job, I think is a man's job. I don't know about the cooking and the other stuff. I feel everyone should be able to do it, but I just feel certain roles, because of the way we are built and designed, it's a guy's kind of job. And it's good that we take responsibility for those roles. unabashedly. And that's my thinking.
Any other guy wants to say something, or is there a response to this, or we're good?
I'd like to say something. I'd like to say something. Ultimately, right? I mean, we are a product of both nature and nurture. There are some things that are innate, but there are some things that we mirror because of like what we saw coming. But then we are now beginning to realize something, that as human beings, we're a lot more malleable than we thought we were. We are able to make things work more. I mean, like in this day and age, the top chefs in the world, right? Like maybe like 70% of the top chefs in the world are men. I mean, they now, and this is cooking and doing it like as a trade, you know. And then we're even beginning to realize that some of the most brilliant engineers in the world are women. Like the world is just beginning to show us that certain things can be learned. But then the thing now is this: I believe in this thing. Discover what works for you guys. Discover it, what works for you guys. Yes, come with your preconceived notions, as it were, but then be ready to drop it when the need arises. As a father, know how to change a diaper. I mean, it's there. Know how to prepare their meals. As a lady, know how to change a light bulb. You know, things like that. They are like, but you may never need to really do it, but it's a tool that you just need to have. I believe if you guys are sincere in your relationships, and then ego is good. Ego is like fire, right? Ego is one of the reasons why, like Mr. I don't know which of the Mr. just said, likes to be needed. That is the good side of ego. Like, we like to be, that protective instinct comes out, So be able to tame it enough to allow it do what it needs to do, without stoking it or trying to kill it as a woman. Like, sometimes in a bit too, we are not supposed to necessarily be partners at the level of 50-50, because I believe you guys don't have 50-50 abilities. Whoever is the stronger one takes up more. But then let it be that there's a 50-50 level of respect and regard, but not in terms of who takes this role. That's what I feel. We are learning. So, like, we are seeing humanity evolve. We are coming into more and more knowledge. And that's just it. There's no hard and fast rule, as it were. That's it. I mean, for me, I'll cook as a father, husband. I will cook. No matter how busy I am, there will be days of the week that this is the day that daddy wants that kind of thing, stuff like that.
I absolutely agree with that speaker. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I agree.
Is it because you love to cook, or because you want equity and equality?
The thing is, too, understanding. First of all, I have a friend that the reason he wants to let out to cook is because he does not want any woman to shakara him. First. No, because that's sorry. As an aside, I have an uncle that was quarreled with my aunt, and my aunt said, "Let me see if you eat in this house." My uncle now said, me? Don't you remember I used to be a houseboy? The guy went to market, came back and cooked 3 soups. But the thing is, yes, I love to cook, but also beyond it being whether I love to cook or not, is that it needs to be demystified. Cooking has become this thing that, who cooks? Who don't? I eat only for. Demystify it, remove the power from the thing. If you need to cook, you cook. Move on to other things. There are other things we need to use our brains for to see. These days, children have to come out rounded. You're raising children in a world where things we never had to struggle with, they're struggling with.
So good.
Use your brain for that. Stop giving cooking and those kind of things too much brain power. That's why I'll take on those kind of things like cooking. Nothing that let's collaborate on other aspects of having a good home. Stop giving cooking that much power. So that's it. Yes. That's
Thank you. I hope okay. So I'm going to go to, I think, Miss 3. I don't think you have chosen a question. Miss 3.
Okay. I'll pick number one. If it's not
Number one has already been taken.
okay, let me take number 9.
Number 9 coming up for you. Number 9. Good question. What would you want to know your partner's in-depth sexual history and why? Would you want to know your partner's in-depth sexual history and why? So Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3. I'm going to start from Mr. 3.
All right, is it on?
We can hear you.
Everybody can hear you.
We heard your laugh.
What an interesting question. I don't think I'll go about asking what's your sexual history. I'm not as interested. However, if in the course of this is for singles now, right? Like what I mean is we're speaking only for when we're single, yeah? Yeah,
like your significant other. This is somebody you want to go into a relationship with, or you're in a relationship.
No, I'm not gonna ask. And if they mention, I think what I'm just going to really listen for if they're not, if they're still okay, if some experiences haven't caused some things that will put unnecessary demands on me. Not to sound selfish, but the point is well, first off, I'm not going to ask. Second point is, if you mention, I'm just going to find out to be sure that you're good. Okay. Just so that all of that won't make you a particular kind of way, because that would mean, I guess, some of those things will make you see things differently. And when you see things differently like that, it can provoke some kinds of reactions, So just to be sure that all that is being dealt with and you're whole in your heart, and your emotions,
Okay. Mr. 2.
Can you go to Mr. 1 first? I'll go back to you later.
No way.
Mr. 2, we're enjoying you. Please talk.
You enjoy me small, remain me for myself. The thing is, this thing is a very, very tight rope to walk. So if I have to really speak about myself, because I would like to believe I'm an open book, right? That I bring whatever it is, the good, bad, the ugly, I let you know, I lay it on the table, and then you decide if you want to go with me. I would expect the same from you. But the reality is, as guys, there are some things that we really cannot handle the truth. Let's just be honest with ourselves. So you're not necessarily holding it back for the purpose of just wanting to conceal a matter, but there's the fragility of our heart sometimes that we can't handle certain realities. So there's some things that, in my experience, women are more forgiving of, how would I say these things? Women are more forgiving of men with like a very exhaustive sexual history than men are of women with an exhaustive sexual history. It ought not be like that, but it is. It's there. If your girl tells you that, and she loves the Lord today and she's on fire for the Lord, and you can see she's going to be a homemaker, and she tells you that once upon a time, how she got around was that she did runs. And like this 30, she was anti-runs once. But now, like she's living for the Lord. It would take a high level of maturity as a guy for that thing not to color the way you view her. Let's just be real. In those kind of situations, it's dicey. for you, then you guys may just have to, if she brings it out, sit down and peel it and deal with your hurt and try and do, and even see if you can maybe get some benefit from her sexual history. If there's something that from it you can use to spice up your own sex life, perhaps. Maybe that will help you look away. But the truth is, this thing can really, because you now get into an act, and then you like, where did you learn that one? I know now. See the way we're doing today, calisthenics anyhow. That's what we ask, guys. I don't know. It's like, it's one aspect of transparency that is almost not guaranteed that you would get back what you need for. I know I've been in a relationship where I was a complete prude, 100% prude. And homegirl was the Don, had been around the block, that kind of thing. And then I felt like we were going in the right direction. And somehow, I think without realizing it, I sent off an energy that made her feel very bad. And like, what? All my sins have been washed away. Why are you doing? I didn't intend to. It did, and eventually that even ended up costing the relationship. I didn't mean to. I was trying to look past it, but I don't know how it always came up. And because maybe I have a very bad mouth, I'd used it once or twice to crack very, very hard jokes, and it did sit well with her. That kind of thing. I think I wasn't really trying to do that, but she did find the jokes funny. I mean, I was like, lighten up. But then that struck a nerve, and I did it 4 times. Yeah, so I don't know. This one is a very dicey situation. That's why I did not want to talk, because you can never really predict the outcome. Just be ready for what comes. And hopefully you guys have, back to communication, you guys can communicate enough and peel through the layers, because there'll be layers. And you guys have assurance that going forward, this is the way. Some women that I know today that God is using powerfully, that there's a lady that I subscribe to, like a newsletter that she writes. Homegirl used to be a porn star, but now she's an evangelist on fire for God, the works. Some people can deal with that part, some can't. I don't know.
Thank you. Mr. One. Mr. One, I'm unmuting you.
Mr. One doesn't want to have anything to do with this topic.
Okay, so I feel like everyone always comes with junk in their trunk in a relationship. One of those places I like in the Bible, was when they were talking about Adam and Eve, and they said they were both naked and they were unashamed. In both of my relationship, it was one of those conversations. I would not force it though. But I think it's one of those things that you have to be open about. Vulnerability, to be vulnerable with someone does entail having some of those kind of hard conversations. To say, hey, this is how far I've gone. Are you willing to take my car trunk and the junk in it? If you're not, there's someone somewhere that God has also prepared for you that can take that same stuff. But to now try to conceal certain things, or to say, oh, I've done so much wrong. I mean, to start with, no one has even done any wrong enough that anyone is capable of judging you or making you feel any less. So to now say, hey, if I say it, you'll probably think about me a certain kind of way. Then he was never the guy, or she'll think about me a certain kind of way. She was never the girl. So I'll tell you, even with some of my friends, they 90% of my escapades, and the remaining 10 will be reserved for wherever at that point where we get married and stuff. There was a story I know personally of a guy who got married to a girl, and while they were in their honeymoon, some other girl goes to the press and says, this guy raped me multiple times when I was younger. How do you expect that chick to deal with that kind of information if the guy never told her? That's like hitting you smack in the face while you're doing your honeymoon. There's no moon. You're coming down from the moon. The thing has ended, So I feel like you should have those kind of conversations. I don't want to walk into a place and you're a wrong girl before, and everyone is laughing at me a certain kind of way, and I think they're cheering me up. They're laughing at me that I was the one, So I feel have those conversations. I'll say this very crazy new joke that my boss told me once in the office. He said, there was this girl who I think she was a Ross girl. She's been around a lot, And there was this guy that she was around with for the longest of time. I should actually joke. No, okay. She was around this guy for the longest of time, So one time they walk in, so she got married to some other guy, correct guy, nice guy, So they walk into a restaurant with the girl, and this other guy walks up to the guy and is trying to make jest and make complete mess of the entire thing. I've dated your girl, I slept with her a number of times. And the guy's like, yeah, but she was a virgin from like six inches down, so like literally just this the guy, So that's the way I feel. I feel like, tell me, and I'm fine with it, So I can live with it. If I can't live with it, I'll tell you this one is too much. I'm good, But if I can live with it, I'll tell you I can live with it. But don't try and conceal it for me. I won't force you to tell me, but I think you should tell me, and that's what I say.
Awesome. Do any of the ladies have a perspective on that they want to share? I don't know if you're comfortable with saying something about that. Please go ahead. Ms. Swan, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I agree with, I think it was Mr. One. This thing about, I always feel some type of way when people say, are you going to be able to handle it? Or I didn't tell you because I didn't think you'd be able to handle it. Like, let me make that decision for myself. And I'm not a child. Like, don't think for me. Don't try to analyze it for me. And I also think that your inability to see past who someone was says more about you than the person. So if you feel like, you can't move past it, or it's a dent on your image, or, I don't know, you can't take it. It says more about you. It's actually something you have to deal with yourself than the person. The person being vulnerable to you is actually a gift, which I would gladly accept. I mean, I won't force it out of you, but I would hope that you'll be able to tell me every and anything and let me deal with whatever it is that you come with. Nobody is perfect. Nobody, absolutely nobody. What I come with might be little in your eyes or whatever it is, but to another person, it might actually be a big deal. So let the person be the determinant of how they're able to, sort it out. I know it's heavy, someone being a porn star and all of that, but there are people that can actually take it on and like, yeah, I don't mind. Let's do this, and hiding it because you think the other person cannot receive it, or you think you're doing the other person a favor, is actually a very big disservice, and I think it's very, very dishonest of the person. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if any of the other ladies want to add to that. If you don't want to add, it's fine as well. Sorry,
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's important to know some of these relationships for one, health reasons. You need to know if I'm going into something serious with someone who has been moving around, I need to check and be sure that you're healthy enough, and that I'm not the girl everyone is thinking, this community
community something
whatever has now been handed over to one person, that kind of thing. So I just want to know for peace of mind, so that I can, like I think Mr. Tool once said, I need to know so that I'll be able to stand by my decision and defend you when the need arises. I don't want anyone to, it's like a blind shot. Anyone can literally just talk to you and say whatever it is. But if there's no openness, I won't be able to really defend you and be sure of what is happening. So please just tell me. I mean, I think it's that look past these issues and move than the man. So yeah, please, I just want to know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say something again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think in insurance, there's something that makes an insurance contract null and void. If before you entered into that insurance, you are aware of the risk, and you still, say for example, you have diabetes and you're going to die in like 2 years, you're not going to take a life insurance for $1 million. When you die, the insurance company might not pay your family will die. If you did not disclose that underlying disease and you're able to get past medicals, So I mean, Christ was talking one time. So if you guys can observe physical things and can understand it. How can't you understand spiritual things? So even with the people of the world, if they require utmost honesty when you're going into a contract, for that contract to be binding, marriage, it's a lifetime contract. If the guy or the girl will not take you for the person you've been and for your unique experience, and you guys are dating, I think you're even in the wrong relationship. Thanks.
Wow. Nice. I've heard a lot of things today. Someone said, and I think it makes sense, it says, make your relationships a safe place to be transparent. That's really on point. I think, Mr. you were trying to say something.
Can I say something?
Let me still speak. I think Miss Stu was trying to say something. I want her to try to contribute. You're muted, Miss Stu. Your mic is muted, Miss Stu. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just kind of with what other panelists were saying, that it's good to just know everything. I was in a situation where you don't know, like, if you're going to have to defend a person or what their past is. If you run into people, I think it's better to just be transparent so you're not in an awkward situation where some girl sees you and, says something about the person that you're with. It would be better that you heard it from who you're with than someone random on the streets. Also the health thing as well, like I think it is a good thing to just know if it's something that they've struggled with, they struggle with being with a bunch of women, or vice versa, they struggle with being with men or infidelity. It's good to know those things because it's probably going to be a struggle in the relationship as well, because things like that aren't something that just gets fixed over time, like right away. So just so you know what you're getting in as well.
All right. Thank you. Makes a lot of sense. All right. I think Miss Tu, have you? Okay, sorry. Mr. Otu, you were going to say something.
Yes,
Mr.
I wanted
Tu.
to say something. So
Yeah.
there is, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So there is an angle to this thing, right? There is a good girl with no past, nothing, and there is a reformed girl with a past and whatnot. And then there is a good guy, clean sheet, prude, never been around the block. There is a bad guy, that guy that Jesus still has to chip away at his heart before he really gets inside. And then there is the reformed guy, right? I didn't mention the bad girl because let's just say that it's a good girl and a reformed girl. In this circle, let's not assume anything, but I'll leave the bad guy. Good girls don't like good guys. Let's just be real in that regard. I don't know why. Good girls like these bad guys more, but end up sometimes set. That's why you see a guy, that's why they can handle these pasts, right? They can handle these pasts a lot. I don't understand how it is that they can, but they don't seem to have a problem with it. Whereas we guys, a lot of times, the good guys that end up marrying the reformed girls are good guys that are trying to be adventurous. They're trying to understand, the ones that make it work and want to have an open mind is because the guy does not know Shingbai and is hoping that the girl will teach. And this reformed girl is tired. She has hung her boots. Maybe she has done runs and now God has saved her and she's doing well. She just wants to settle with this guy that knows nothing and let her start her life over. This guy is a reset button, right? But a lot of times, I don't think it would be wise, if you ask me, for anti-reformed to tell Uncle Good that much about her past. Let it almost be, this is my first time. Are you sure? That kind, I don't know. Then you enter the do. Because if you do, the heart is really fragile. We cannot so much handle it. You understand? So understand the pockets of where these people are. And the Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. I believe that in the process of communication, you need to learn how to release information about your past. Don't just wow. That's the problem I have had in my personal life because my life is an open book. And also because I get big mouth. It's a very bad combination that has led me in so much trouble in my life. Just give my one mouth. And this thing has put me in so much. There is
Oh my
tact.
God.
You need to understand how to release information about your past. But anti-reformed, if you want to start over with Uncle Good, by all means do it. But just be wise in the way you let your information out there. Anti-Good seems to be able to handle anything about Uncle Bad and Uncle Reform. But this other way, there's need for wisdom. That's what I just really wanted to say.
Interesting. Anybody get any perspective on that? Are you trying to say that they should find a corny way to get entangled?
Find a wise way.
Before.
Have you ever so have you, as a father, if you want to get a child to do something, do as I say. I'm your father. If you don't do it, thunder will fire you. But there's like, hey, come, see here. Look, you know what will make me happy? See, if you do this, you do this, you do. There is a wise way to release information. And honestly speaking, there are certain things that people really don't need to know. Jesus has washed it away. Let Jesus wash it away. Because this person is not really, look, honestly speaking, people are not able to handle what they think they can handle. We're not saying hide your past, but we are just saying read the room, read the moment, read the person, and then use that wisdom that God has given you, wisdom from heaven, and know how to disseminate information. If you are trying to press reset with wisdom. That being said, like Miss 2 or 3 said, there are certain information that you just have to deal with the consequences of your past. If you had raped somebody before, let somebody know. Don't now go and then it's on apparently there's something called Instablog Lagos or something. Don't now let them see it on Instablog Lagos or whatever, that this is your past. Let somebody know. That one, there's some extremes that you just have to deal with the consequences of your past, of your action, and let God work on you guys fresh going. But other escapades, just be wise in your release of such information.
So I think what you're trying to say in perspective is that don't just go there spilling your past.
No.
Be able to secure that you're in a safe place. And
yes,
you have this person's trust.
That it be received in the light that you are sending it. The person will be able to understand the place from which you are bringing it. Until you get there, just be careful in the way you release that information. I'm not saying hide it back, but just it depends on how far you want it to go. Based on that, be able to use wisdom to know how you let out information about who you are and where you're coming from. But if it is something that affects the person, please let it be known from the get-go so you guys deal with it.
Thank you. Awesome. So I think Mr. 3 and Miss 2, have you picked a question, Miss 2?
Yeah, I picked number 8.
Mr. 3 is the only one that has.
So I think Mr. 3 is the only one who hasn't picked a question. Mr. 3.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Question 6.
Question 6. What do you think about divorce? Are there grounds that are acceptable to you? What do you think about divorce? Are there grounds that are acceptable to you? I will start from Miss 1.
Okay. So divorce, wow. Personally, I believe that marriage is for life. Absolutely, totally nothing, no buts to it, yeah? But then again, we're humans, and even in the scriptures, when Christ was talking about it, he said, because of us being humans and, the hardness of our hearts and all of that, the grounds he gave, adultery and all of that, I think that if it has to do with life and death and mental illness, mental health, then, but personally, I don't subscribe to divorce at all. Like, it's not something I plan for. It's not something I make room for. It's not something I anticipate. So if I'm going in for life. But it has to do with life and death. Obviously, we're humans, and we can talk about, what we are going to do and who we're going to be. But along the line, someone turns into something you never expected. If it has to do with your life and your mental health. That being said, mental abuse, physical abuse, yes, I think that everyone should protect themselves first of all, take themselves out of the situation first before we talk about the finality of marriage. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, Miss Two.
Yeah, I don't love marriages for life, so I feel like divorce isn't really an option. But again, going to what Miss One was saying, like if it affects your mental health or it's a physical abusive relationship, things like that. I think now in this time that we live in, people coming out more as gay, and it's really hard to know, like maybe with a physical abusive person, you could see red flags along the way, and maybe same thing with a gay person, but at the same time, someone could hide that very well. So I feel like in that sense, it'd be really hard. I mean, you can try to stay with them to fight against the sin, but if they're really convinced that they're gay, I feel like in that sense, it would be, you would consider divorce or probably not want to stay, because why are you staying with someone who's not even attracted to your gender or even yourself alone?
All right, thank you. Miss Three.
Okay, so we're Christians. Marriage is for better or worse, the vows and all. But then there are circumstances or situations that you just have to let go. For instance, I'm married or we're married. You love me, but the time comes again, and then it becomes irritation or you become physical and all that. That's one would have to just say bye-bye. You see, the worst now is only somebody that is alive that can be in a relationship and love.
Right.
And then I think I read one book recently, When Breath Becomes Air. It's an old book, but I just found it recently, and then I read about it. In the book, it talked about how these guys were, in fact, the wife was about leaving this guy when she knew he was going to die, but they needed therapy and everything to get back on their feet, and she stayed with him until he died. Black men do not like therapy. When you ask a black man, let's go for therapy, let's see a psychologist or this, they think, how can black people, in fact, black people don't even believe that there is a need to go to therapy and all that before, when you're having marital problems. And the pastors that some people even go to sometimes are not even helping matters. Because a lot of times the pastors would be shy in putting the blame where it should be. And most times you just put everything on the woman. And then the burden most times when it's difficult to take, the friction that it brings from the excess load on how a woman is supposed to keep her home and all that, then leads to a lot of marriages breaking up. So I believe that divorce is a no, have to let go. And you can't really do it more like that.
All right, thank you. Do any of the guys?
Like that?
Do any of the guys want to say anything about that?
Yes, I want to say something.
All right.
Divorce is a clear and present danger. The Bible says, can two walk together except they agree? Good to speak about it before you get into the position of marriage. Like as tough as a topic as it is, good to really discuss it and come to that agreement. But I think it in this current day and age, even within the church, divorce is real. It's there. And a lot of times, what happens is, let me speak for the cases I know of, as even that hit home, very close to home for me, is you thought you were in this for life. But what happens when your other partner pulls the plug for whatever reason? If to you it may seem absurd, but to this person it's really real, it's real enough to end the marriage. What happens in such a case? Interestingly enough, in the new dispensation where we are at now, one needs to understand and prepare for that reality so that you be able to forgive yourself and still be relevant in life. If you do not find yourself in a place where you know that this can happen, if it hits you and it catches you unawares, you can lose valuable time, and God forbid, some people end up even losing their lives and don't really function anymore. It needs to be something that you understand, and then you need to be open to help, before and after going through it. It's a reality that is there today. But then the thing I've got to tell you is this. See, God is so gracious that no matter how bitter a situation is, if it ends in divorce, it will always end in praise. There is always good, like there is good that comes out of the worst of situations, even divorce. One can find happiness again, one can find solace again. You can heal fully. But at that point, it is now up to you to work with the Holy Spirit and open your heart to it. But it is a reality. So you may not want it, but it is there. And having that understanding from the get-go is amazing, is good. But we need to also not discount the fact that it can happen, and it does happen. So that's just what I wanted to say. Because you may live in oblivion, and then that means you don't have any toolkit to cope with it if it comes.
So are you saying that people should go into marriage being prepared for the worst? How do you prepare for marriage with that perspective?
Go into a car, drive and be absolutely comfortable on your trip, but know that an accident can happen that can cost you to lose your life. Like, I'm trying to be careful with the analogy I use, so it's not like if you're in, we are at one leg in, one leg out. Be both legs in. Fight to the end, but be ready to forgive yourself if that end comes. That's my point. And be ready to pick yourself up if that end comes. We do not plan for it. We do not pray for it. We do not hope for it. We hope that both are ready to fight to maintain it. But if you find yourself in that place where divorce is now at your doorstep, it is not the end of the world. There is life beyond it. There is forgiveness from heaven. You can still function. You can still be happy. You can still move on. I'm just saying, fight, but also, if you find yourself at that place, do not be consumed in condemnation. Because that's one of the things the enemy is using now to really plague people. And they're losing their minds. Mental health issues are now beginning to spring up. Because people did not realize, there's no toolkit. I mean, for me, in the cases that I have been privy to witness, I know love the Lord, sold out to this Jesus. When in their marriages, some of them and the spouse that today divorced, went on a fast, came back, they were hearing prophetic words over their lives. The marriage ended. For some of the ones I know, it affected them so much, they damn near lost their mind. I know somebody that it took them, a marriage that was maybe under a year, it took them close to 5 years to get over it.
I don't know if does any of the guys want to add to this. Okay, Mr. One.
For me, okay. Sounds you're talking.
Do not let it.
I think.
Yeah, I think Sean's still talking.
Down to the point where
I think Mr. Two is still talking.
Yeah.
Your life is not over. There is life. You know, fight.
Okay, Mr. One, you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, for a fact, divorce is not an option. But I think divorce is more like the fruit. We need to address the roots. I mean, it's good to say once you get to a point where someone is becoming, someone's mental health is involved, which is also sometimes a thing of perspective, you know, or clearly there's a sign of danger. I mean, the guy starts to hit you. And let's not forget that ladies still hit guys too these days, you know. And it's gotten to that point, you know. I mean, there was a case about the lady that stabbed her husband to death. So we hear all of these things from time to time. Once it's getting to that point, I think a temporary break or like a separation is fine, which is why I always say the car is broken down, you pack it and you try to fix it. But I just want to put a small counterbalance to what Mr. Two was saying. Like, let's not, like, so it doesn't seem like we now settle into that point to say it's an option, or I don't understand how he played a lot of emphasis on all of that, you know. But I think if we can address the roots, we can, or what makes a successful and a long-lasting marriage, then we can avoid those kind of pitfalls, you know. I mean, you're dating someone, the guy does not have, the guy doesn't have anyone that's answerable to. I won't say I don't believe entirely in therapy. I believe more in accountability, you know, like people can call someone to order. You know, David, as powerful as he was, had Nathan come in and say, dude, you acted a fool. You took another man's wife, you killed the guy, and there, the guy's sins became more glaring to him. You should always have those kind of people in your partner's life. That's the way I see it. If I'm dating a girl, she doesn't have friends that can call her to order. She can't listen to anyone. It's just her and God that have a relationship. There's a problem. Because there's a thin line between insanity and spirituality. Insanity and spirituality. You can come on Monday and tell me God said the marriage is over. Who do I go to go and cry to and say, this girl is acting crazy? Who can call her to order? Absolutely nobody. You know, so I do understand to say, let's draw that line and say, to what limits? Yes, once physical abuse and stuff are in place. But I think if we can address the roots of the problem, we can avoid eating from the fruits of the tree. And that's my thinking.
Yeah. Anybody want to add to that point? All right. Okay, so we're going to go to just to put some perspective on that. I think most of us are single here. Not everybody is, and it's important that, you know, I like what Mr. One said. I like what Mr. Two said as well. You know, paying attention to the roots. You know, spending more time in knowing people before dating and marrying them is critical. Fighting for your marriage is critical. Fighting till the end. But just like Mr. Two said, some people are in some disastrous situations where they are faced with those realities. And what he's saying is that those people should not be condemned or feel like there's a way society kind of condemns some people in those situations. So I think that's the balance right there. Okay, so now we're going to go to this round, and in this round I'm going to allow for the next few minutes, I'm going to open the floor. Is there anybody that wants to ask another person a specific question? Their question. We have done the random questions. Everybody has picked a question. So I'm going to open the floor for that now. Anybody want to ask a question to a specific person? Mr. Three, you have been quiet.
No, I'm here. It's a fantastic session. I'm learning. I'm learning, yeah.
Awesome. Anybody want to direct, maybe based on questions that have been on the show? Anybody? Any of my panelists? Or does any... Mr. Two, are you speaking?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, my spectators, if you want to direct a question to anybody, I don't mind as well. But Mr. Two, go ahead.
How do I say this? How relevant do you think having a quarrel is in the relationship phase.
How
That
what?
almost sounds like a rhetorical question. But how relevant is it for you and your partners to quarrel, fight, have misunderstanding, while you guys are still in the dating phase or the relationship phase?
Okay. Ladies and the guys, anybody can jump on that. Okay. Miss One, please go ahead. You're muted, Miss One.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Personally, I think that it is. I don't know you yet until I have series of quarrels with you. I never understand it when people say we don't quarrel. It's just very weird to me. Like, if there's no quarrel, I will create the quarrel. Unfortunately, like, I don't know you until I see you in that space. I need to know how you handle conflict. I need to know how your anger is. I need to know how how you deal with pain and bad things happening. Pretty much, I need to see you in that space. So it's absolutely essential. I don't trust you if I don't see you angry or see you react in some form. Yeah, that's fine.
Miss Three wants to say something.
Okay. So I think in this aspect of quarrel, it's good to have those little, times when you raise your voice, because I believe it's in those moments that you truly.
It's like the network is quarreling with us, or what's going on?
Just want to quarrel always. There's a very thin line between the normal quarrel and then going into disrespect.
Miss Three, can you hear us? Miss Three. Okay, so
it's also very important to know that.
We have bad network from Miss One. Okay, so I'm going to go to Mr. Three. Mr. Three, you wanted to say something about this? Please go ahead.
All right. Just to chip in my 2 pence, I don't necessarily think we have to quarrel. Yeah, even though many times we get to quarrel. Yeah. But it's not something that if I don't see, I would have to. I would be walking up a quarrel. That's a turn off for me personally. If somebody is trying to provoke me just because you want to see something, I'm wondering, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? We don't have to. Yes, I don't believe there has to be quarrel to know the person. I believe you can know the person better through the quarrel. I agree with that bit, but you don't need quarrel to know the person. So yeah, I think that's a bit faulty. But hey, I'm not saying what the lady said is faulty. Please, this is just my opinion, and I might be wrong. So yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, so yeah, that's all.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Anybody wants to still talk on that? Okay, Mr. One. Mr. One, I see you.
Hi. I think it's a pure betrayal of friendship for you to try to foment trouble when there is none, just to see how it reacts. I see more like a betrayal. Like, you're not my friend, really. Because if you were my friend from like ab initio, you would know how I react when I'm angry. You would be familiar with my excess, my problems and stuff. I also do understand. I mean, the Bible says, as iron sharpeneth iron, so does the countenance of a man sharpen that of his friend. So it does mean that even in friendship, I mean, you can't be friends. Our people have been friends before 13, 14 years, and we've had to disagree on certain things, but it didn't deteriorate into a quarrel. as a rule of thumb for me also, I think it's a sign of weakness that you're having an argument and you have to raise your voice. I think you can be assertive without raising your voice. I learned it over time, because I'm not there yet, but I'm still going there. I think you can be assertive, you can make your point without crossing a particular decibel in your sound. But yeah, in the course of your conversation, in the course of your relationship, you guys will always have discrepancies. It's having to respect the other person's opinion well enough and respect. I'm willing to serve, and to say, oh, okay, I can back down. I don't necessarily have to win this argument. I think at that point, when we can get to that point as friends, then we are good. I think sometimes also it's because we fail in friendship. That's why we fail in relationship and we fail in marriage. Sure. I'm not yet married. I've dated twice. Or let's say twice now. But I mean, for me, if you fail the test of friendship, I can't even bother to try and date you. So that's what I say.
Awesome. All right, I have a space for just one more question. One more question. Does anybody have a question you want to throw out there? Anybody? Spectators, I saw one question, but
nobody has. I have another one though.
Okay, just quickly go because we're running out of time.
Are you able to forgive infidelity? There is so two types. It happened once or it happened twice, and there's the guy that it just keeps happening. In both cases, can you forgive?
Okay, so who wants to jump on that? Can you forgive infidelity? The one that there are two types. Thinking about it now is funny, but there are two types. There's one that is the one-off, one that is consistent. All right.
Should I jump in?
Yeah, jump in, please.
Oh, it's for the ladies. Okay.
No, it's for everybody. It's fine. Jump in. This is third.
Okay, and I've been quiet. I've been learning a lot, so let me just contribute a bit. All right. So, I can for the first category of once or twice. I would like to believe that I can. There was a time I used to be terrified by third parties, right? But I've also learned over the years to just trust, because there's no need for harboring unnecessary fear. So yeah, so I would believe that that I'll be helped to be able to forgive once or twice. But if the person, I hope not, but if it's someone that's going all the way back, then there's an issue, with a fundamental issue. And I just also commenting on the part of divorce. Sexual immorality is a ground for divorce. So I think the Bible knows why he puts it there like that. So I'm not holier than the Bible. So if someone is going up and down doing that every time, then you know that you actually stand a risk of jeopardizing everything. So yeah. So once, twice, I'm not saying that I would like the person to go and cheat once or twice, but the point is forgiveness has to be the ground of everything, really. So yeah, but not perpetual going, just being randy. Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing.
You're not Hosea.
I don't think I am.
All right. Anybody want any other perspective on that? Ladies.
Can I go?
Yeah, Miss One, please go.
Okay. Yeah. I in the past I used to really think that infidelity was like a real big deal breaker. Yeah, like it was the worst thing anybody could ever do to me was to be unfaithful or yeah. But I've come to learn that there are a lot worse things that could happen actually. There are many other things that are worse than infidelity. And to the question, I would hope to have a heart to forgive. Like that's the goal. I'm not going to stay here and say, yeah, cheat on me, I'm going to forgive you. It would be a really hard journey. It would be really difficult. But I pray for the grace to forgive. And I would hope that that person doesn't do it again, because it would really change the dynamics of the relationship. It would alter a lot of things. And if you claim to love your spouse, and you really see how deeply hurt that person is, it would be so. I mean, you really either have to have like a mental issue, or you'd just be a cold-blooded human being to go do that again. But yeah, I pray to have a heart to forgive, and work through it, because forgetting is another issue entirely. But I'd hope to have a heart to forgive. But if you keep on doing it over and over again, that's definitely affecting my mental. You're now toying on my life now. I just have to like take some time away from that whole space, and let's deal with our issues, because there's clearly an issue. It's either you have a mental issue, or you just want to kill me then. So I just have to take myself away from that. But yeah.
Awesome. So we have come to this point of Mid Singles, episode 3. This is one of the things we do at Real Talk with iDeal and Friends. You guys have been amazing. Panelists have been amazing. Spectators with your many sarcastic chats. Thank you very much. Real Talk, we meet on the 2nd and the 4th Saturdays of the month, and it has been an amazing time. So I want to thank you guys for coming out here. We have the links. If you're here, you haven't signed up for Real Talk, please, we'll love you to sign up. Also, if you want to be on the hot seats, we need more people on the hot seats. People who are responsible people who, would love to share their heart and be real. We would love to have them. Also, we have a YouTube channel. Please, and past editions are there. We would love you to come on.
Hey there, thank you for making it to this point of the video. You have watched it. I hope it was good. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And let's get your feedback. Was it real? Was it too ideal? Whatever. We would like to hear from you, and get what your feedback, get your comments. If you haven't filled the link or subscribed to this channel, please do that. And when you fill the link, we'll give you information how you can jump on the live show, make your contributions. We want to learn from you. We want to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Keep coming back. We would have some exciting topics for you. Trust me. Have a wonderful time. See you again.